It was a warm, sunny day in the village of Isike when little Ngozi and Itohon first met. They were both 7 years old, dressed in their neatly ironed uniforms, standing nervously at the gates of Yugokinyer Primary School. Despite being from different tribes, Ngozi, an Igbo girl, and Itohon, from the Edo people, they quickly became inseparable. Ngozi was the more cheerful of the two. Her laughter was infectious, and she had a knack for making everyone around her feel comfortable. Itohon, on the other hand, was quieter, more thoughtful, and often shy around others. But with Ngozi, she opened up like a blossoming flower, and soon they were spending every moment together. They would walk home hand in hand, sharing stories about their families, their dreams, and the future they imagined. Ngozi always dreamed big, saying she would one day live in the city and become a great businesswoman. Itohon smiled at her friend's ambition, though her dreams were simpler. She just wanted to be happy and live a good life. As they grew older, their bond became even stronger. In secondary school, they faced all the ups and downs of teenage life together, from exam stress to their first crushes. They were known in the school as the two sisters, though they weren't related by blood. Everyone could see how deep their friendship ran. Secondary school brought new experiences for Ngozi and Itohon. Now attending Efani Girls High School, their bond remained unshakable. Together, they navigated the complexities of adolescence, new subjects, new friendships, and even rivalry among classmates. Ngozi remained the ambitious dreamer. She always spoke of a future far from the village. "One day, I will own a big company in Lagos," she would say confidently, her eyes sparkling with hope. Itohon admired her friend's ambition but often felt overshadowed. She wasn't sure what she wanted from life, and while Ngozi's dreams soared, Itohon felt content with the simple pleasures. She wanted to settle down, marry, and live peacefully, much like her parents had done. But she never let these feelings show. Ngozi was her best friend, and she always supported her. In their final year, something began to change. Ngozi, always the popular one, started getting more attention from boys. One particular boy, Ibuka, a tall, handsome student from a nearby boys' school, had eyes only for her. Itohon watched from the sidelines as her best friend blossomed into the center of attention. Yet, despite the new attention, Ngozi never let anything come between her and Itohon. They both graduated with good grades, but Ngozi's acceptance into a prestigious university in Lagos meant their paths would begin to diverge. Itohon, who preferred to stay closer to home, enrolled in a smaller university in Benin City. "Don't worry," Ngozi had said on their last day together before leaving for Lagos. "No matter where life takes us, you'll always be my sister." University life was different for both girls. In Lagos, Ngozi thrived. She quickly adapted to city life, joining campus organizations, making new friends, and dating influential people. Her confidence grew even more. She worked hard and made connections, always planning for her future. Itohon, meanwhile, lived a quieter life in Benin City. She studied diligently and kept mostly to herself, making a few friends but nothing compared to the vibrant social life Ngozi had. They still spoke often, but over time, their conversations became less frequent. Ngozi was busy chasing her dreams, while Itohon felt lost in the routine of school and home. She couldn't help but feel that Ngozi was moving far ahead of her, leaving her behind. Despite this, Itohon still loved her best friend and eagerly looked forward to the day they would reunite. Years passed, and both graduated. Ngozi returned to Lagos, where she immediately began working for a well-known company. Itohon stayed back in Benin City, taking a modest job as a teacher. Life moved on, but their friendship seemed to stand still until Ngozi made a grand announcement. "Itohon, I'm getting married." Ngozi's voice rang out excitedly over the phone one evening. Itohan's heart skipped a beat. To who? Itohan asked, trying to sound happy but feeling a strange twist in her stomach. To Ikena, the owner of that big tech company I told you about. He's a billionaire, Itohan. Can you believe it? Me, married to a billionaire. Itohan forced a smile, though Ngozi couldn't see it. That's wonderful, Didi. I'm so happy for you. But in truth, Itohan wasn't. A bitterness started to creep into her heart. Life had always been kind to Ngozi. She got everything she wanted, success, wealth, and now a powerful husband. Meanwhile, Itohan was still struggling to find her place in the world. She was single, working a low-paying job, and feeling like life had passed her by. Months later, the wedding day arrived. It was a grand affair, held at a luxury hotel in Lagos. Itohan attended, standing quietly among the crowd as Ngozi and Ikena celebrated their union. She couldn't help but feel envious. It was the life she had always dreamed of, and it was Ngozi who had it all. As the months passed, Itohan's jealousy grew. She tried to suppress it, to be happy for her friend, but it gnawed at her every time she thought of Ngozi's perfect life. Then, one fateful day, the opportunity arose. Ngozi had been away on business for a week, leaving Ikena home alone. Itohan, who had grown closer to Ikena through Ngozi, paid him a visit to check on him. The conversation started innocently enough, but the tension between them was undeniable. Ikena, despite his wealth, had been feeling neglected by Ngozi's constant travels and busy lifestyle. Itohan, seeking something, anything, to fill the emptiness inside her, fell into the trap. One mistake turned into many, and before long, Itohan had crossed the line. The betrayal was swift and cruel. She knew what she was doing but couldn't stop herself. The jealousy, the envy, and the longing for the life Ngozi had led her down a path she never imagined she would take. When Ngozi returned from her trip, the cracks in her marriage became apparent. Ikena was distant, and Itohan had grown cold. It didn't take long for the truth to come out. Ngozi was devastated. The friend she had trusted, loved like a sister, had stolen the man she adored. She confronted Itohan in tears, but Itohan, hardened by jealousy and regret, offered no apology. The friendship, once so pure and unbreakable, was shattered. "I will never forgive you," Ngozi whispered, her voice cold and trembling with anger. "Karma will come for you, Itohan." Itohan left that day, feeling the weight of her actions. She had gotten what she wanted, but at what cost? Months passed after the betrayal, but the pain for Ngozi only deepened. She couldn't understand how her best friend could do this to her. Every memory they shared now felt tainted. Ikena's betrayal cut just as deep, but Itohan's was a wound that refused to heal. Ikena, now entangled with Itohan, struggled to hold on to the success he had built. Things started to unravel in his business, deals fell through, and investors pulled out. What was once a booming empire began to crumble. He soon realized that his relationship with Itohan, built on betrayal, wasn't what he had imagined. It was filled with guilt, regret, and a constant feeling of unease. Meanwhile, Ngozi channeled her pain into her work. She became more driven than ever, climbing the corporate ladder and earning respect in her field. But the loneliness was always there. Despite her success, she had lost two people she loved deeply. At first, Itohan thought she had won. She had taken Ngozi's place in Ikena's life, living in the luxury she had once envied. But it didn't take long for the reality to sink in. Ikena wasn't the perfect man she had imagined. Without Ngozi's lively energy, the home felt cold, empty, and full of tension. Worse, Itohan couldn't shake the guilt that gnawed at her. Every time she looked at Ikena, she remembered the hurt in Ngozi's eyes. The wealth she had so desired now felt like a curse. She couldn't escape the feeling that karma was watching, waiting for its moment to strike. Her own life started to fall apart, slowly but surely. Old friends distanced themselves, uncomfortable with the scandal that had surrounded her. She no longer felt the joy of her new life, instead consumed by guilt and isolation. As the months went by, Ikena's business continued to fail. What had once been a billion-naira empire was now on the brink of bankruptcy. Ikena blamed Ito-hon for the collapse, accusing her of bringing bad luck into his life. Their relationship, once built on stolen moments, was now filled with resentment and constant arguments. Ito-hon, too, began to lose everything she had fought for. She was shunned by those around her, labeled a homewrecker and a betrayer. Everywhere she went, people whispered behind her back. The money, the status, it all meant nothing if she had no peace. Meanwhile, Ngozi thrived in her career. Despite her personal pain, she built a life that was admired by many. She had come to terms with the fact that her marriage and her friendship with Ito-hon were over, but she had gained something far more valuable, her self-respect. Ngozi had always believed in karma, and now she could see it unfolding right before her eyes. One fateful day, Ikena lost everything. His company filed for bankruptcy, and he was left with nothing but the bare minimum. The lavish life Ito-hon had craved was gone, leaving her in a situation far worse than before. Ikena, who had once seemed so powerful, was now broken and bitter. Desperate, Ikena left Ito-hon, blaming her for all his misfortune. Alone and humiliated, Ito-hon found herself living a life she never imagined, a life of regret and loss. Everything she had taken from Ngozi had slipped through her fingers. She reached out to Ngozi, hoping for some form of reconciliation, but the damage was done. Ngozi's words from their last encounter echoed in her mind, "I will never forgive you." And true to her word, Ngozi did not. Ito-hon was left to face the consequences of her actions alone. The life she once envied was now a distant dream, replaced by the harsh reality of betrayal and loss. Karma had finally caught up with her, and there was no escaping it. Ngozi, though scarred by the betrayal, found peace in the knowledge that she had stayed true to herself. She had survived the storm, and now, on the other side, she was stronger than ever. Though she had lost her husband and her best friend, she gained something more valuable, her freedom and dignity. She moved on, focusing on her career and making new friendships that were built on trust and loyalty. Life wasn't perfect, but it was hers, and that was enough. Ito-hon's betrayal had taught her that not everyone deserved a second chance, and sometimes, the best revenge was simply living well. With her heart still healing from the betrayal, Ngozi decided to throw herself into her work. She took on a challenging project at her company that could help revive their declining sales. The pressure was immense, but she found solace in her determination to succeed. Her hard work paid off, and her innovative ideas soon caught the attention of the higher-ups. Ngozi was offered a promotion, a position that would put her in charge of a major project, one that could change the trajectory of the entire company. It was a new beginning, one she had longed for, and she was ready to embrace it. As she climbed the corporate ladder, Ngozi also began to heal emotionally. She made new friends at work, people who valued her for her talents and hard work rather than her past relationships. For the first time in a long while, she felt genuinely happy and fulfilled. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more thrilling tales like this, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Your support helps me continue sharing exciting and interesting stories. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.